Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chef Inderpal. Welcome to What's Cooking in COVID-19. I'm going to flip the camera over, show you the mise en place, give it about 30 seconds, and let it load for some more people, and we'll go from there.
Oh, 1 second. Flip. Hello, everybody. Today is a special day and a special menu we have today for my wonderful nurses. So this week is Nurses Week, and I work with some amazing nurses, and I asked this chef to cook something awesome for them, and I'm so excited. I got to try a little trial of it, and this was awesome. And I want to give a shout out. Do you guys like my shirt? Do you like my shirt? This is a shout out to Simran, our beautiful sister-in-law, and this is her company. This is her shirt, Blue Ridge Boutique. If you want to order more, you can get some there. But tonight is going to be for nurses. Okay? All right. Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. How are you guys doing today? Thank you for tuning in to What's Cooking in COVID-19. I see a lot of you guys are on. Appreciate you guys watching. A lot of chefs are on. A lot of family members are on as well. Please comment, like this video as well. Simran said you have a beautiful shirt, Jazz, by the way. Thank you, Simran. Like I said, please comment, like, and share this video. If you're watching this video later, definitely hit the pound sign. I'll come back to you and give you a shout out or a message if you get any questions. Please let me know. Hey, Harith, how are you doing? Harith said, hey, Chef and Doc, how are you? Good morning, Chef Hong Kong. How are you guys? Hey, guys who are tuning in. This guy that's watching, Chef Hong Kong, gold medalist in ice sculptures right here. Amazing chef on the other cross of the world right there. Thank you for tuning in, Art. Thank you so much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, today we're making pâte de choux dough, one of the hardest doughs to make, basically in culinary. Kind of an advanced thing to show you guys actually on camera, but it's very easy. Just a lot of different techniques and a lot of different ways to do this. Like my wife was saying, Justine, this is Nurses Week. It's starting on the 12th, which is Wednesday. So this is basically a special for them. It starts on the 6th, sorry, on the 6th to the 12th. And she's always talking about how good her nurses are and how much they take care of her. So thank you so much to the nurses that are out there. This is unprecedented times that we need you guys at the current moment during COVID-19, all this pandemic that's happening. So thank you so much to the people on the front line, the nurses, especially the doctors that are there. Appreciate you guys a lot, you know. Back to pâte de choux dough. So pâte de choux dough was discovered around the 1500s in Florence, Italy. Slowly over time, it moved its way to Paris, France. So if you're ever in France and you're basically at a patisserie, typical for basically a French pastry shop. Hey, Raman, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. It's my sister. If you're in France and you see a patisserie, that's a French shop. You'll find these type of pastries there as well. So I moved over time into there. Pâte de choux dough is a sub from the choux dough. We're not going to get into that. That's a whole different conversation. So this is pâte de choux dough. So pâte de choux dough is basically only 4 ingredients. It's going to it's going to be butter, water, flour, and eggs. 4 ingredients, that's it. There is no leveling agent. The leveling agent in a pâte de choux dough is actually steam. When you cook your pâte de choux at different heat settings, and I'm going to show you everything rises, and it's all due to the steam and how you activate the butter, the steam, and everything into it. Like I said, different cooking temperatures all affect this dough. You want to make sure that you never open your oven during this process and let steam escape. Otherwise, your pâte de choux dough becomes flat, and you do not want a flat dough. Pâte à choux now. This dough is meant to use in profiteroles. Profiteroles are cream puffs. Cream puffs are there. Another use for this dough, you use this dough and you do an elongated shape, stuff them, put a little bit of chocolate on top. You now have eclairs. New Orleans. Love New Orleans. You go to New Orleans, what are they famous for? Beignets. Pâte à choux dough. Instead of baking it, what we're doing today, you take pâte à choux dough and you fry it. Then you have beignets. Same dough for beignets. Pâte à choux dough, it's typically a sweet dough, but you can also use it for a savory dough. Phenomenal savory dough. If you put, say, duck liver or duck pate and some glazed walnuts, phenomenal option for that. You do goat cheese, chives, and balsamic onions, another option for this. Today's pâte à choux, I'm going to keep it sweet. I'm actually going to be stuffing these pâte à choux with a white chocolate mousse and chocolate chips, and a dark chocolate mousse with roasted coconuts in it. So let's get started on making pâte à choux dough. Extremely easy. I'm going to show you guys my mise en place and go from there. Again, thank you guys for tuning in to what's cooking in COVID-19. My name is Chef Inderpal. We're making pâte à choux dough today. So like I said, it's only 4 ingredients. You have your butter, you have your flour, and you have your water. Eggs are going to come at the end. You want your eggs to stay as cold as you can. In this pâte à choux dough, since I'm doing it as a sweet dough, I am adding 1/4 cup of sugar. Any type of sugar. I'm using organic cane ground sugar. So you can use any type of sugar you want. This is 1/4 of a cup. I have 8 ounces of room temperature butter. 8 ounces of room temperature butter. 1 cup of water. Again, 1 cup of water. And 1 1/4 of all-purpose flour. You do not need to sift your flour. You can leave your flour unsifted. Again, it's 1 1/4 of unsifted all-purpose flour. So as we get started, we're gonna preset our oven. We're gonna set our oven. If you have a convection oven, you're gonna set your oven to 400 degrees. If you do not have a convection oven and you have a regular oven, you're gonna set your oven to 425 degrees. Okay, again, convection oven, 400 degrees. Non-convection oven, 425 degrees. Let this get preheated. And then in our empty, heavy stock pot that we have, we're gonna turn this on. We're gonna add our water, 1 cup of water. We're gonna add our sugar. We're gonna add our butter. Hey Atit, great question. What is a convection oven? Hey Simi, how are you? Hi Simi, how are you? Thank you for tuning in. Great question, Atit. What is a convection oven? A convection oven, Atit, is an oven that has a fan that's inside of it. So my oven has a fan inside of it. So the purpose of a convection oven, is it distributes evenly heat around the entire oven. Versus a standard oven, the heat elements and the sources are from the top and then from the bottom. Versus a convection oven, there's a fan source there. So all the heat is evenly distributed in even cooking of your food. Most recipes call for when you put a pan in the oven, most recipes call when you put a pan in the oven to rotate the pan halfway through it. With a convection oven, you typically do not need to rotate it because the air is moving in all directions. That's the major difference between a regular oven and a convection oven as well. Definitely. So we're gonna turn our mixture on right here. Again, my table just broke. Hey Nikki, how are you? I forgot to say happy birthday the other day when you were watching. Happy birthday. Thank you for watching us. Put this guy right here. Start getting this on a rolling boil. No, you're fine. I just had it uneven for a second. I got it now. Thank you though. So while this is going, a quick thing I'll tell you guys about profiteroles. In the wintertime, you're gonna see basically like kind of like a pastry tree. That's called a croquembouche. A croquembouche is what type of butter do you recommend, Chef? Oh, Chef John, great question. Definitely recommend unsalted butter. Never use salted butter. Always use unsalted butter, because you should, as a culinarian or as a cook or as a chef or whatever you want to say, you should always control your salt limit. Don't buy salted butter and have somebody else control your salt for you. So always buy unsalted butter. Great question. Definitely. Hey, Chef Vicky, how are you? No problem, Nikki. Thank you. So croquembouche. Croquembouche is a bunch of profiteroles that are basically already made. You make a caramel sugar and you dip your profiteroles into them. You make a ring and then you basically build a nice tree with a bunch of spun sugar around it. That's a croquembouche. You can make a croquembouche, which I'm kind of debating on making, not tonight, but maybe tomorrow morning. So look out live, maybe for me tomorrow, making a croquembouche after I do all this. Let's get back to our butter, and I'm going to show you guys more on this one. Like I said, you want this to come to a rolling boil. Once boiling has been achieved, where it's like this and you can kind of see the small boil, that's kind of the part where you want to take it off the stove, which we're going to take it off the stove. And you guys are going to follow me right here. Now the most important step is about to happen right now. You take your flour and just hot liquid mix. You're gonna dump all your flour in here. All your flour. As you dump it in here, stir vigorously. Stir it as you incorporate everything into it. Okay? As you incorporate everything together,
spoon? Should we like whip it with that? Can we whip it?
No, you never want to whip it because you want to make sure it's all incorporated with a wooden spoon. Great question, Justine. So you want to add this as a mix everything together. Once everything is mixed together, you're going to take the exact same pan. You're going to put it back on the stove and you're going to let this go on a low heat for only less than 1 minute. Less than 1 minute. You want to just kind of move this around till it basically follows the back of your spoon, until everything is kind of coated inside. Beautiful. Exactly how we're looking for. So after this, we're going to take the exact same dough now. and we're gonna put this dough right here. With this dough being just like this, you wanna open it up as much as you can. And the reason being, give me 1 second to get this opened up. So you want this dough to be opened up because now you're gonna start incorporating eggs, but you do not wanna incorporate eggs while this is extremely hot. So you wanna basically kind of find a nice point, like a little mound, and you wanna get the temperature for this to be under between 125 to 135 degrees. Why is this an important step? Great question, Chef John. You want to cook out the flour after you've added the flour into it to make sure everything gets cooked out, as well as the butter into it. Great question. So as this cools, as this is coming down to a temperature, we're looking at 153. As this comes down, we're gonna start breaking out the eggs. Put you guys right here, and I'm gonna grab the eggs. So now with the eggs, you want to just take your eggs. Don't add it in yet because this is still hot. But while this is cooling off, we're going to start breaking our eggs. And we'll get the eggs ready while this cools off.
Are you going to whisk them?
No.
Why not?
Because you have to whisk the eggs in 30 to 45 second intervals once this cools down in temperature. Once this cools down in temperature, you can definitely then you start that process. But you have to be very careful for that.
Can you whisk them outside of the dough? Can you whisk them in a separate container?
No. You want your enzymes all beginning to mix together in here.
Oh no, that's what I meant. Whisk them separately. What do you need name? One more egg?
Mm-hmm. So keep your 4 eggs separated. You do not want to mix these at all. You want to keep all these separated. Your dough is right here. Start moving your dough around a little bit. Just trying to get it cooled off as fast as you can. Want to work your dough.
Let me show them this. So the temperature is coming down. John is asking, why is this an important step?
I've already answered that question. He was asking about the flour mixture.
Oh, okay. So basically a waiting process.
Baking and pastry is all about patience, guys. It's all about patience. This is what makes us feel so much more. This is what makes baking and pastry so much more lovable. Is all about the patience that's involved in baking and pastries. Baking and pastry. It's one of my favorite things. It teaches you so much about patience, so much about just the wait. You know, you got to make sure that everything is correct. If you don't do something, you rush into something, you wasted your time. Like I said, pâte choux dough is one of the hardest doughs because you need to be at that exact temperature when to add the eggs and to do it. Chef, will the egg scramble if the dough is too hot? Yes, 100% Chef John. If you add your eggs in too much, the dough will curdle. And then you have ruined your product. Which you don't, then you have to start all over again. That's why baking and pastry is a very patient kind of game. You want to make sure everything is set there. When you do add your first egg, it is going to look like it has curdled. Do not worry at all. We're going to add all of our yolks and some whites from 30 to 45-second intervals. And as you add each egg into each step, the dough becomes a lot more smoother dough, which you'll see happening here, you'll see happening here. So don't worry when you add your first egg, when it's at that temperature range, and you're like, oh my God, my dough looks curdled. It hasn't. You just have to be patient, add your second egg. 34 seconds later, add your third egg. Wait again. By the fourth egg, you'll see you have a nice smooth dough. You've now made pâte choux dough. Let's keep kind of making sure this temperature goes down so that doesn't happen at all.
Hi Sivi, how are you? Vic is asking, yes, he is making profiteroles and croquembouche. Croquembouche probably tomorrow, right?
Yes.
From the profiteroles.
Yep. You're all right, Chef Vicky.
I was gonna say baking, needs patience, so all the wives should make their husbands bake and get exercise and patience. Important tip. So this is not all an accident. It's all planned.
All planned. Okay, so we're almost there. We're at 143. Like I said, you want to get to about 135, and it can happen. Chef Vicky said no, mine would never make.
Yeah. It's all about persistence. It's all about everybody breaks. Just keep trying. Where is Chef Vicky from?
She's in Washington State at the moment.
Washington State. Washington State, not Washington, D.C., huh? Washington
I went
State.
to a school in Washington, D.C. That's how I met her.
Wait, she is the pastry chef,
Yeah.
so you gotta rate her.
I am.
You gotta rate him. You gotta rate him. He's turning into a pastry chef. Yes.
As a culinarian, I try to put my hands all in every field it could be.
Vicky, once a chef, always a chef. Even I call myself a chef. I may just make tea, but enough to call me a chef. Okay, this is a lot of patience, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So you're looking for 130. We're at 141. Ladies and gentlemen.
Got it. Now we're basically right at the temp. So I'm going to turn the camera over now, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how we're going to achieve. She said I'm a tax accountant now.
Oh, we need you very soon. Okay.
Let me turn this thing over now, show you guys how to finish the pâte choux dough, and go from there. So now we have our dough that's right here. Like I was saying, we're going to add the egg, one egg at a time, into this. As we add the one egg, we're going to mix it together. So let's add one egg first, one yolk, right there. Start mixing it. Like I said, it's going to look like it curdled on you on the first egg yolk and a little bit of the whites. That's okay. As you keep adding more egg yolks in the 30 to 45-second intervals, it's going to start binding into a dough. Last egg, drop it in. Pâte choux dough, ladies and gentlemen. We have just now made pâte choux dough. From pâte choux dough, what we're gonna do with this now, set this aside. We have a piping bag that we've already started setting up. This piping bag is in here, it's got a tip on it. Can you overmix this, Chef John? I do not have the answer to that yet. I don't have the answer to that, so I'm sorry I can't answer you on that question. I want to say you. I don't have the answer to that.
If you overmix, does the air like sort of escape, or you don't get that much steam left or something? Is that an issue?
No, I don't know the reasoning behind it.
Tell them the cool piping trick.
I will once we get the dough inside of it. I can tell them the trick. But I have to first get this loaded in here. I'm using a small piping bag because I am making small profiteroles. Usually I would make a larger piping bag, but like I said, this is all about patience. One more scoop, I think half a scoop in this one. And we'll get round 2 going in a second. Put this aside. So we have a baking pan. I have mine lined with a sill pad on it. If you don't have a sill pad, you can use parchment paper. That's perfectly as fine. We're now gonna take our pâte choux dough, which is right here. You wanna twist the top of the bag. Where your pastry tip is at, push that back into the dough. Not too far back where you can see it has to be there. We're now gonna cut this tip. Tip has been cut. It's folded in. And it's coming out. So we're gonna start basically making our molds and our shapes. And I'm gonna go from there.
Yeah, let me show this. Here.
You want to have about an inch to 2 inch gap between these. Like I said, I'm making small ones. These are going to be these are going to rise about a quarter to a half. They are going to rise and be a little bigger than these right here. Like I said, these are cooked without a leveling agent. The leveling agent is going to be the steam that's going to be cooked inside of these.
Mark Scarpelli just joined. Who's Mark Scarpelli?
He's one of my chefs I went to Italy with.
Oh, hello, Mark. How are you? Oh, yeah. I've heard about him.
Traditionally, when you do profiteroles, you don't use a star tip. A star tip is what I'm using today. And the star tip reason is, I'll explain to you as we get going through the cooking process on why I use a star tip. Usually use a plain tip for this.
Raman is asking what tip number is this? This was a 20?
I can't see the tip number.
Here. Later. We can tell later.
Yeah, I can tell her later what tip number this is. Great question. This is tip number 21.
21. Mark says he misses you.
Definitely. Mark came to our wedding.
Oh yeah. Now I remember. Wasn't his name Mark Heller? No, it was Mark.
No, you're thinking of something different.
I'm thinking of somebody else, but Mark, yes.
I didn't do these straight. You see how mine are crooked? This is why I'm not a pastry chef, but it's okay.
The angle that I had you on, they look pretty straight. Do you need one more tray?
I got it. Set this tray aside.
Mm-hmm. Okay, one more time.
Just fill this one up.
So how many batches do you think that will make of that, the dough that we have?
If you do this with a regular piping bag, this should give you about 15 to 16 profiteroles, or about 20 eclairs at a 3/4 of an inch with about a half an inch height on them. Great question though, but since I'm not doing the traditional way and doing the rest, I'm doing way more smaller, like more minier. We're gonna have a different cooking time, and we're getting a lot more out of what we're looking for. Kind of modifying the recipe a little bit, you can say, but we are still using the same traditional pâte à choux dough and how it's supposed to be working with.
So the pâte à choux, those are the size that you make if you have to make.
Like the ones I made the other day for you?
I know, yeah, but those are bigger. So, what was the croquant bouche? They have to be smaller in size. This size, is that right?
They can be any size.
Also, larger croquant bouche.
You can do large, small, medium.
They're larger.
You know, you can do them any size you want for croquant bouches.
Yeah.
But you can keep them at any size.
These are coming out nicer. Probably the better pressure behind it, right? This is almost therapeutic to watch at this hour of the night, you know? It's calming. You watch desserts being made. It's like one of those relaxation videos. How many people are watching because of that? To just feel relaxed. Your mom says Dad is so impressed with your talent, he asked me to tell you.
Tell my mom I got my talent from my dad.
Your dad does pastries?
No, my dad taught me a lot about home repairs. I think that's where I got my patience, was a lot from home repairs from my dad, actually. And then my mom taught me a lot about cooking and basically just having patience in cooking, you know? Squeeze one more on this side. Probably don't need it, but I'll make a little baby one for you. Is that okay?
These are all pretty baby ones.
I'm gonna squeeze another one on this side. And then we'll put this one in the oven. Just a little tester piece for you. Okay?
Okay.
So, now ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take these and we're gonna put them in the oven. Come here, bring them to the oven.
Okay, we're going to the oven, inside the oven. Okay. This is number 2. And done.
Okay, so now the pâte choux are now in the oven. Like I told you in the beginning of the stage, the oven has to be at 425 degrees non-convection, 400 degrees convection oven. You're gonna put these in the oven for 15 minutes. 15 minutes is what you're gonna put this in for, okay? Now here is the most important information I'm gonna tell you guys right now about pâte choux. Never open your oven. Never open your oven until the entire process is completely done, because like I said, pâte choux, a rising agent, is steam. If you open the oven, all the steam releases, you've now completely lost your product. Be patient, let your product cook. You're gonna let it cook for 15 minutes at the temperature of 425 degrees non-convection, 15 minutes 400 degrees convection oven. After 15 minutes, while they're still in the oven, you're going to reduce your temperature down to 350 degrees non-convection oven, and you're going to cook them an additional 25 more minutes. Again, now after the 15 minutes, you're going to drop your temperature down to 350 degrees non-convection oven, and you're going to cook for an additional 25 more minutes. If you have a convection oven, you'll cook them at 325 degrees for an additional 25 minutes. After you've cooked them for that long, I know it's a lot, after you cook them for that long, you take them out of the oven, you're gonna poke a little hole on top of them to let the steam out, put them back in the oven for 5 more minutes, and you're basically all done. You've made your profiteroles. I've already made a small batch ahead of time, so we don't have to wait that whole 25 minutes, that almost all the 45-minute timing there has to be. So I'm going to grab all the mise en place for that as we speak, and that's it. Give me 1 second. Boom. So these right here, like I said earlier, I made these earlier. This is a chocolate mousse with roasted or toasted coconut flakes inside of it. This is a white chocolate mousse with chocolate chip chunks inside of it. Hopefully Justinine's nurses on Nurses Week gonna enjoy this pastry dish. You think they're gonna love this, Jazz?
They're gonna absolutely love it.
There you go. So let's get some of these profiteroles, and I'm gonna show you guys how the ones I made earlier turned out, and I'm gonna show you guys how we're gonna stuff these and fill them up. So,
do you want to tell them a little bit about the mousse? How do you make the mousse?
So these are the ones that are already there and they're done. When you get these done, what you're looking for is a nice tan brown color on the bottom. I was talking about the toothpick to release the steam earlier. That's what that little hole in the toothpick is there. Is what you're looking for is like a nice kind of smooth color into this. Now, earlier I said traditionally we don't use a rose tip. It's more of a plain tip. I used a rose tip, and I'm going to tell you the reason why after we stuff these. This is what a plain tip looks like. So let's get a serrated knife, and let's just take one of these just to show you how the inside looks, so you guys kind of get the understanding or the gist of this. Always be careful when you're using a knife. It could be very sharp without a cutting board. This is exactly what you're looking for. Do you see how there's the air pockets in here? This is exactly what you're looking for. Nice, sturdy base, airy texture due to the steam and everything. So what we're gonna do is, this is a sample piece right here. We're gonna take our regular mold. We're gonna basically just kind of put a little hole in it. We're gonna take our chocolate mousse and we're gonna stuff it. You wanna stuff this till you kind of feel the pastry being expanded. And once the pastry has been expanded, you wanna open this just to make sure. We can just test this out again to see how it looks on the inside. This one's air pocket is a little smaller, but you can see it's still got stuffed inside. White chocolate mousse with chocolate chip chunks in it. Let's cut this one too. There it is, that one's ready to be used. So now, let's go through these and let's start making little pockets for these. I want to start getting these stuff to go. So we have one right there. 2. And you do that for the entire process. As everything gets filled, and you just take your mousse that you have, you put it in, and you stuff them. This is one's done. We'll go to the white chocolate one. Same thing in the cavity. Fill. A little too much filling. More white chocolate. Beautiful. Look at that. It's exactly what we're looking for. Let's do some chocolate ones.
Do more of the chocolate.
More of the chocolate ones? Mm-hmm. You want a chocolate one? Okay. So here's the chocolate one. Jazz, you want to try this one? Ship some to you? I definitely will ship some. Thank you guys for saying this looks amazing. I appreciate you guys watching this, by the way. Here you go, Jazz. Here's a chocolate one. Let me know how it tastes.
Take it one, like all in
So
one
let's
go?
actually go. There was a reason why, before I give this to you, there was a reason why we use the ridges, and I'm going to show you why we use the ridges. Let's just make this more of a tease for you guys watching this. Here over here, I have some chocolate already melting. This is very easy to melt. It's just you take baking chocolate, put it in a pan, some basically water, and let it naturally melt. We're going to take this, just dip it in. Dip it in. And there you go. You got a dark chocolate roasted coconut profiterole with a chocolate ganache right on top of this. Not that mean. Here you go, Jazz. Now you can have this beautiful delight.
All together?
Whatever you like. I was gonna see if you wanted to break it in half so they could see how it looks inside.
On top. It's awesome. It's cold, it's so light. The mousse that you made is so light, and then the character of the pastry is really fluffy. So it's almost like a surprise in the middle. So you have a little crunch, and then there's like soft, fluffy surprise in the middle, topped off with that topping of the ganache. So it's really, really good. Can I try this one of the, which was it, the vanilla mousse?
Yeah, would you like me to dip it inside for you?
Dip it in some chocolate?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's...
I did. Here you go. Okay. I am a girl who loves chocolate, so I like the chocolate better. But the vanilla and with the chocolate chip is pretty good too, if you're a white chocolate fan. But I like dark chocolate much better. Good job.
Okay. Well, it's Nurses Week, like I said. Happy Nurses Week to all the nurses. Appreciate you guys always helping my wife out. Appreciate you guys on the front line. Like I said, the original recipe, you're gonna have this go for 15 minutes at 425 degrees non-convection, 400 degrees convection oven. After 15 minutes, while they're still in the oven, lower the temperature down to 350 degrees non-convection or 325 degrees convection oven, and cook them for an additional 25 minutes. After 25 minutes, you're gonna take each one of them, make a little toothpick mark onto your profiteroles, let the steam release, cook for about 5 more minutes, and that's it. Take them out of the oven, put them on a cooling rack, let them cool, and just follow exactly what I did. Poke a hole, pipe them with mousse, and that's it. Sometimes, if you do make them a lot bigger, what you'll see in France, they'll make these a lot bigger, like almost like you can say like a slider size, and instead of putting a hole in the middle, they'll cut them kind of like a hamburger bun or kind of like a bun, and then they'll make breakfast sandwiches on it. So you can have these and make a breakfast sandwich. Awesome sandwich. Gruyere cheese, egg whites, and some asparagus, and maybe a grilled tomato on this to die for sandwich, breakfast sandwich right there. I love making profiteroles. I love making pâte à choux dough. Like I said, this is one of the hardest doughs to make. I just showed you guys how to make one of the hardest doughs in the most easiest form you guys could see. Definitely please comment, like, share this video. This is What's Cooking in COVID-19. My name is Chef Inderpal. Appreciate you guys tuning in tonight. If you do watch this later, hit the pound sign. I definitely will come back. I'll PM you, message you. If you get any questions, concerns, please let me know. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys have a great, great evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Jazz, any last words?
Bye-bye. Thank you, nurses. Thank you, all the first responders. And sleep tight. Don't eat this at night. And have a great night. Thank you.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you guys. Have a great night. Let me just show you real quick how these profiteroles look on my oven light. and see how they go, and then we'll hang up from there. There they are. I can't wait to, I'll take some pictures for you guys and show you these, how these look as well. No, not a good thing on the flash. Alrighty. Well, you guys have a great evening. Like I said, my name is Chef Inderpal. I appreciate you guys tuning in, watching it. See you all tomorrow. Maybe later on tonight you'll see some pictures. Appreciate you guys, nurses, all your first responders. I look forward to cooking for you guys this entire week to show our appreciation to you guys. Thank you, and have a great evening. Definitely try this soon. Yeah, definitely try this, you know. I appreciate you, Sukman, saying you love this. Thank you so much. We don't have to eat them. Not all the time, Mom. Thank you, Chef Hong Pong, for saying this as well. Definitely thank you for sharing it. Let's see, anybody else? I miss any questions or anything? Chef, does the dough get firm fast when it cools? Great question, Chef John. It does get a little firm. It actually gets a little more liquidy because the butter, it starts kind of solidifying. So you want to work with that really quick, as fast as you can. Great question on that one. Hey, Mark Scarpelli, thank you for tuning in. I definitely miss you and Ashley, and I see the little one always running around. Definitely see you guys on that. Thank you for tuning in. And I believe that's all the questions I see on here. Well, I appreciate you guys all tuning in, watching it too. If you guys get any questions, concerned, like I said, my name is Chef Inderpal. Thank you for tuning in to What's Cooking in COVID-19. Have a great, great evening.